Welcome back to another episode of Critical Reactions with your host, Bryan. We're going to continue on with this week's theme of post-punk, and hopefully this song helps me understand the genre a little bit more. Talking Heads was not really what I was expecting with the word punk in the genre name, so today we're going to be checking out Black Country New Road. The song's called Sunglasses. I have heard this band on one of the live streams, and if I remember correctly, I enjoyed it, but I never got a chance to dig back into them, so I kind of forgot what they sounded like. But yeah, let's dig into this, see if my memory can get jogged a little. Yep, so we got an ambient sound, a simple guitar line, 4/4 time signature. Yeah, really playing around with that emphasis there around 4 of the first bar and 1 of the second bar. Yeah, you really gotta listen to that hi-hat or the guitar, or you start to doubt yourself where the bars touch.
Welcome to the best new 6-part Danish crime drama.
Another bit of spoken word.
She steams herself in marble rooms, courtesy of Big Pharma. I lose
Ooh, nice little hi-hat
myself
run there.
in the light of the TV, courtesy of her father. She buys everything that glows gold in the kitchen larder.
All right.
Mother is juicing watermelons on the breakfast island, and with frail hands she grips the NutriBullet, and the bite of its blades reminds me of a future that I am in no way part of. And in a wall of photographs in the downstairs second living room's TV area, I become her father and complain of mediocre theater in the daytime and ice in single malt whiskey at night, of rising skirt hems, lowering IQs, and things just aren't built like they used to be. The absolute pinnacle of British engineering. And I am so ignorant now with all that I have learned. Oh, American, hear me. So ignorant now with all that I've learned.
Let me play around with some dissonance.
Just like I've always wanted. Just fuck me.
Breaking down a picture perfect idea.
Buy me dinner, meet my parents, and fuck me like you mean it this time. Touch me, touch me.
once again we have a 4/4 with just a really interesting rhythmic element to
I am the
it.
Fonz, I am the Jack of Hearts. I am looking at you, and you cannot tell I am more than the sum of my parts. I am looking at you with my best eyes, and I wish you could tell. I wish all my kids would stop dressing up like Richard Hell. I am locked away in a high-tech, wrap-around, translucent, blue-tinted fortress, and you cannot fucking touch me. I am invincible in these sunglasses. Cars are going beep, beep, beep. And there are so many roadmen on this street.
We got a muted
And you cannot
brass
tell that
instrument.
I'm scared.
I can't put my finger on it,
I'm
but it's
invincible
emulating a
in these
kazoo really well.
sunglasses. I'm modern Scott Walker. I'm a surprisingly smooth talker, and I'm invincible in these sunglasses.
I almost want to say it's a Harmon mute on a trumpet, but it's actually sounded a little too open compared to the Harmon mute sounds I've heard. Alright, moving that idea from the brass to this gets hard, so I'm bringing it down an octave or two. I like how this section has brought the entire song together. That straight fuzzy sound going in the background is constant. Really building a lot of tension on top of, you know, the dissonance and the layering and all that. That rising and falling kazoo-esque sound. All right. Well, I don't know how I feel about this song on a casual level. We're going to get into the more analytical aspect of it in a second, and we're going to look at concepts like recurring ideas, theme and variation, and somehow, once again, spoken word rather than singing. I'm not sure if that is a commonality in all post-punk, but we're 2 for 2 right now. But there's something about this song that feels, I don't know if I have a word for it. My gut instinct told me to say awkward. I don't know if awkward's the right word, but it definitely makes me feel like a lack of balance, if that makes sense. I'm lacking stability in a sort when I listen to this song, but also it feels, I don't want to say incomplete either, because the song appears to be complete. they they thought it was finished and released it, so in that sense it is a complete song. But I wouldn't say that there's anything necessarily missing. I don't think there's a part where I'm like, oh, I would have added this, or this is a tone I really think would fit with this. I don't think I would change anything additive to the song. But it feels lacking. And I don't know if that's intentional. It could be part of the story, the lyrical themes could be about missing a part. If that's true though, this is high concept because I don't even know how you would go about writing that. How do you write a song that makes somebody feel like they're missing something? Or how do you write a song that makes the listener feel like the song is missing something, but that it's not an incomplete song? That it's obviously, filled as far as it needs to be, as far as layers and voices, the mixing's done. It doesn't feel like an incomplete song, but it it makes me feel like it's missing something. I don't know, it's really weird. It puts me in a weird mindset listening to this. And to me, at least, the song seems to be lyrically about, um, I don't know, I get some ideas in the song about not being what we think we ought to be, not being who we should be, something along those lines. Um, the lyrics that really stood out to me when I checked into the lyrics and the ones that kind of stuck with me was something about uh, the singer being his grandfather and complaining about the same things that his grandfather complained about, just the times have changed. Things weren't built like they used to be. The drinks aren't, they don't taste the same as they used to, kind of thing. This positive nostalgia for the past, and possibly after stating that we would not become our parents or grandparents who always complained that the present is not as good as it used to be. That was one part that stuck out to me. And I kind of get that same sort of vibe, attitude from the rest of the vocals, even if I didn't pick up the lyrics themselves. There seems to be this not self hatred, but dissatisfaction with who the vocalist is, or who the character in the story is at this moment in time, that they're not who they think they should be, or they're not where they should be, or they're doing something that they said they never would. They're just not happy with the present situation, not with the world around them, but the world within them. And along those lines, I can kind of apply this idea of maybe emptiness. Eh, Emptiness would be a missing something, right? Maybe if you don't know what that something is, you still know it's missing. But the song doesn't feel empty. It makes me feel like the song is empty. But the song's full, and I even brought that up at the end when they brought back pretty much everything that they had done up until that point. Every instrument that had played in the second half of the song, once we moved to the bum bum ba-dum bum, once we moved to that rhythm, pretty much they played around with some stuff. I'm going to get into this in a second when we look at this critically, but every instrument that came up in that section was brought back at the end at the same time. We had the fullest part of the song, every voice was present, and I really don't know how they could have added anything else to that section. The song is not missing anything, but the song definitely implies an element, an atmosphere of lacking. And it's really interesting. Like I said, I don't even know how I would go about writing that. I know how to write about emotions. Emotions are fairly easy, especially if you stick to some tried and true chordal movements. Uh, but concepts, high concepts like emptiness, how do you do that without writing an empty song? If it was intentional, that's fascinating. I absolutely adore that. Anyways, like I said, I'm still trying to process this song. It puts me in a weird space. Let's look at some of this more analytically, though, more critically. The song, once again, just like what we've listened to yesterday, twice actually, which was interesting, even though we only listened to one post punk song yesterday, the song basically sticks with a single core idea. Now, this core idea is implemented twice, and we get the first half and the second half with different foundational work. But the core concept is create a foundational section with an unusual rhythmic pattern in 4/4, place various voices above it to create layers, and then put a spoken word on top of that. The various layers do not all have to play at the same time. They do not have to come in sequentially or in any sort of given time frame, like every 8 bars at another voice. None of those constraints are within it. They put in whatever voices they want. They remove them whenever they want. And what it means is that we get various combinations of these voices. We might hear some brass and some trumpet, and the brass kicks out, and we bring two more instruments in. Then we remove one of them and bring the brass in. So now the brass are playing with different instruments, and we're getting all these different contexts because the instruments themselves are not always playing the same thing as the foundation. Now we do see a lot of that copying the foundational work in the second half, where almost every instrument follows along with that core pattern. But in the first half, there's actually a lot of differentiation going on as far as what the voices are doing and what they're contributing to the overall sound of the song, whether that's harmonically, melodically, or rhythmically. And we do that first half where we see a lot of ideas kind of being unique and doing their own thing. And in the middle of the song, we restart from scratch. We come up with a new rhythm. Same idea though, guitar and drums provide the basis for it, and then we slowly start adding more stuff and put in the spoken word again. This time, however, though, many of the instruments are utilizing the same ideas. And I wonder if this plays into some of the themes of the song, because we do have a bit of sort of individuality in the first half, and then in the second half, it's very much about conformity in a sort. Every voice is working along the same rhythmic constraints in the second half of the song, whereas the first one, it's a bit more expressive. Each instrument can kind of bring their own thing to the table. And I wonder if that has anything to do with some of these themes as well. And actually, I wonder if the lyrical content, or at least the lyrical themes themselves, shift from the first half to the second half to work within this musical change as well. I don't know. I have a lot of questions here, and I think a lot of it hinges on the lyrics, which are very important. One thing I've noticed in spoken word songs is that the spoken words tend to have a lot of import. Typically, that's because the spoken word is told very much aside from lyrical content, singing. It's usually done as an introduction to a song or a midpoint to bridge ideas or whatever, or sometimes even as a sort of information overload, where singing you are kind of expected to hold out notes, and spoken word is more about natural speaking cadence. You can get more words per minute into a section. The same can be said for stuff like rapping. Rapping tends to put a lot of weight and import on the words themselves. They are, in actually a lot of hip hop music, the core draw of the song is the words, what they mean, and a lot of the word play and rhyming schemes, and basically the poetic analysis of it. The musical aspect tends to be withheld a little bit in order to let the rapping and the lyrical content of the raps really shine, both on a straightforward read, just what the words have to say, and then also the technical aspect of how they're said, how they're rhymed, what kind of meter they're using, the emphasized notes, all that stuff. So, at least to me, in music, spoken word tends to mean that these words have more importance to them. And this entire song is done in spoken word, and there's a lot of it. Like I mentioned, you can typically get more words done by speaking than singing, just because a typical speaking cadence is going to have more syllables per minute than singing will. And it makes me wonder, I mean, yes, I've mentioned this in the past, not listening too deep into the lyrics because I'm paying attention to the music has always been a weakness of the channel of my analysis. Sometimes I can get pretty close, sometimes even spot on just with what the music is telling me thematically. Sometimes I just completely miss it because I'm missing out on the lyrics and they play a much greater importance. And I think this is one of those songs where the lyrics are playing more importance. However, there is still a large theme that I'm getting out of the music. So I probably will end up looking at some lyrics for this today. Maybe today. I'll try to fit that in today. It doesn't take long to look at lyrics. Although these are kind of dense lyrics, there's a lot of them. And I'll probably have to listen to the song again because another thing that's interesting about this is inflection. With singing, we can typically utilize different techniques to deliver words differently. Singing words is very different than growling words or putting some distortion on cleans or doing a fry. They all have different emotions about them. Even sobbing and getting a bit of, uh, that breathiness, even just that you would get from whispering or using falsetto, they all imply different emotions. But with spoken word, you can put a lot of speech patterns and speech inflection into the words to change the way they mean as well, or change what they mean, or give them a different color. And I think a lot of that's going on here as well. He uses quite a few different ways to say words. And I think having the lyrics in front of me is only going to tell me half the story. The other half is going to be how he says them. I think that's going to be important too. So, yeah, this is it still shouldn't take too long. I can probably pull these up and like check them out, even if I right before bed, turn the lights out, pull up my phone because who actually goes to sleep when they turn their lights out, right? Look up the lyrics right before I fall asleep. Um, Although, given what themes I think the song is about, that might not be the best the best way to check out for the night. Sounds like there could be some heavy topics in here. But yeah, so like I was saying, no, I'm only getting half the story. I understand that. I understand it's a limitation of the format, and I accept that. But it does leave me with questions because the music is providing ideas of theme, but I don't think they work too well on their own. I think they really need the lyrics to stand out. And I'm hoping that the lyrics can line up with them. Otherwise, it's a song that sort of just exists. And I don't think that's a bad thing, but like I said, I kind of walk away from it a little odd. So, those are my thoughts on Black Country, New Roads, Sunglasses. This is where you guys come in. Hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you thought of this song, if you enjoyed it or not, anything that bounced off of you, anything that you really just jived with. Hit me up with those comments. When you're done commenting, you can head up to the description box. There's a link in there for Linktree, which is a really nifty website. It creates a menu with icons, buttons, very clean interface for finding out stuff adjacent to the channel. Maybe you want to follow me on Twitter, support me through Patreon. join a Discord community, or submit your own special selections. All those links are there and more. I got one more video coming up today. We'll be looking at a special selection. And then tomorrow I'll be back at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 p.m. UTC, as usual. Until next time, remember to be critical but not cynical of the music you listen to, and have a fantastic morning, afternoon, or evening whenever you choose to watch my videos.